Hey folks, welcome to another video in my Python tutorial series. My name is Ajit and let's quickly jump onto it. We have already understood the decision control flow with if-else in Python in one of my previous videos. Now let's understand the loop control flow statements. So loop statements are a block of statements that are executed multiple times until the termination condition is met. Now this will be much easier to understand with the help of examples. So let's understand what type of loops are there in Python. So there is a for loop and there is a while loop. So in this particular tutorial we're going to take a look at for loops. Before we get into for loop, let's understand one more thing, and that's called range function. Okay, so range function is basically a type of a function that will bring you the list of numbers. So let's say if you want the numbers to be listed until 3, so you could use this, and let's print this. Let's save this as num and print num now, and that would bring us the list of starting from 0 to 3. So it takes 3 arguments basically. Where to start from? By default it starts from 0. Where to stop? So it stops at 3. That means it's only going to bring 0, 1 to 3, and then the step. So by default the step is 1, but if you want to bring it jump it by more than 1, then you could use this as well. So let's say you want to bring 0 to if you want to bring the numbers from 0 to 10 and jump by 2, then eventually it's going to bring all of them, and I guess it's going to only bring the even numbers in this list. So we could easily call it even numbers, right? So this is how the range function works. It's important because we will need to use this a lot in for loop. So as you could see, it's printing. Now if just let's just touch base the type of what type of data is this, and this is a range data. Okay, so now with the help of range we're going to use our for loop. Okay, so I hope range function is clear here. So for every number in num, okay, let's call this let's not call this anything. Let's just use this range function as it is in our for loop. Okay, and let's not do this step for now, and just print number. Okay, sorry. Okay, so for every number in this range, print that number. That's what I'm saying. So this is the syntax, and also remember the indentation, what we've seen in if else. Same, it ends with colon statement, and as soon as you press enter, it should be indented slightly, 4 spaces to the right, so that it knows that this is the block of statement that belongs to for, and then anything you print after that, after the indentation, for ends. Okay, or rather let's say for loop ends, right? So this will be executed once the for loop is ended, right? So let's execute this statement and see how things happen here. So you could see my console. It has printed the numbers from 0 to 9. So for loop always starts with 0. So even if you have this without the 0, you could still end up getting the same output, 0 to 9. So always remember, it skips the last number. So whatever number you want to print it through, you need to give one more than that, right? So let's take an example, and let's consider it from 0 to 10, and let's jump by 2. Okay, and see what happens now. So as I said, it brings the numbers, all even numbers. So it jumps from 2. Basically it's not a function to bring even numbers, but it just jumps by 2. Okay, so 0, 1 is kept, then 2, then 4, then 6, 8. Okay, because 10 is not in the list, or if we do this 11, it should bring 10 also, right? So that's how this range function works, and the for loop works. Okay, so for loop is very simple to understand. This is widely used with the compound data types. So for example, range is something that we have seen now, but there are certain compound data types which we will look in the future videos. So this is then useful with the, to iterate through the list of items that are there. So we will see the compound types later in this in this series. Now also want you to I told you that remember I told you before when we looked at strings that this let's say word, we want to take this word YouTube, right? This is a word, and we want to iterate through this list. You know, we all know that whenever Python uses string, it just assigns it index values as well. So let's say for I in word, so I is nothing but just short. So word is something that we already used. We want to print I. So what printing I means is that we are going to print each character separately, or let's just call it each character, right? So I want to print each character, sorry about the spelling mistake. I want to print each character in for loop with the help of for loop in this word. So word is either YouTube, you could either use this as a variable, or you could do straight away use this word over here, right? They both should do the same job. We will see that in a moment. And you could see that the for loop has now gone and printed each character on this separate line. So this is also useful to iterate through a string if you want to bring each character, right? So that's how this for loop works. That is all in this Python's for loop tutorial. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to apply the knowledge that we have gained so far. So let's solve a problem in our next tutorial, and the problem statement is here. You know, we are going to write a program to find sum of all odd and even numbers up to a number specified by the user. So this is the problem that we're going to take a look at in the next video. So don't miss that, because that is where you will understand how much of knowledge you have gained and how to apply that particular knowledge. So that's all in this Python's tutorial video. If you like my videos, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.